The planetzoo update 1.17 for PC players has added the ability to create animal encounter habitats, where guests can now interact with a number of species inside walkthrough habitats. This includes all 7 animals included in the new Barnyard Animal Pack, but also works for 12 animals already in game, including 5 base game species. In this video, I'll show you how to set up an interactive encounter and how this works. To create an animal encounter, you first need to create a walkthrough habitat for a species with interactive capabilities. You can see what animals have this ability in the game Zoopedia, as I'm demonstrating here with the Quokka. In the Species Data tab, you'll notice a small change in the information here. There's a new entry under Relation with Humans called Guest Interaction. Here for the Quokkas, this is listed as Guests can interact. Where an animal can't interact with guests, this will either state guests flee from, as is the case here for the pygmy hippo, or it'll say guests can enter habitat, as it does here for the pronghorn antelope, meaning you can add this animal to a walkthrough enclosure, but guests won't interact with them off the path. To help you with selection, I've added a list of all 19 animals currently in the game with animal encounter capability in the video description. So let's get on with creating an encounter. First step is to create a walkthrough habitat. Another great feature with the latest update is the addition of a small guest gate, which is great for working with species that only need a short barrier fence. So here I've set up a walkthrough habitat with a small guest gate, and I'll be adding some capybaras in here to show how it works. Capybaras are in, but we're not quite ready for an animal encounter just yet. First, there's a new checklist that we need to run through. This works similar to how the transport rides work in game. When you select the habitat, there's a new tab called Animal Encounters with 4 requirements here. The habitat needs a guest gate, which we've got. Next, we need to add a hygiene station for guests to wash their hands. These are located in the Guest Facilities tab, so 2 options to select from. I'll pick one of these and add that to the habitat. It doesn't matter where you put it, the guests will path their way to the station when they need it. And as I add that to the habitat, the tab up here confirms we've now met that requirement. The other options show we've met all requirements, so there's no dangerous animals in the habitat, and we've added an interactive species. The other option in this tab is to do with guests' pathing behaviours. Once guests start visiting, they will roam around the habitat, deviating from the path that they'd normally be restricted to with a standard walkthrough habitat. Similar to how the game has always handled walkthrough habitats, there's no way to limit the number of guests entering a walkthrough habitat at any given time, but for the interactive element, we can now restrict how many guests are venturing off around the habitat for the animal encounters. So I can change this from default to few if I want fewer guests interacting with the capybaras, or I could switch it to many if the capybaras are handling the interactions well. I'll leave it for default for now, and let's take a look and see how it works. Right, zoo is now open, and given this is the only habitat in the zoo right now, we've got an awful lot of guests making a beeline for the capybaras here. Some guests will keep to the path within the habitat, and as you can see here, others will now deviate and go and pet a capybara. Absolutely adorable. And that's pretty much how it works. A great new feature, and one that's been requested by the planetzoo community for a long time, so it's nice to see this kind of feature finally added into the game. So I hope you really enjoy this new feature. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you in the next video.